Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tackling the carbon cleaning on this VW Audi 2 litre TFSI engine. We're going to be attempting to get as near to professional results as possible, as if you would go to a garage for walnut blasting, etc., with £50 worth of products that you can buy from Amazon. So let's get to it. Okay, so in previous videos you'd have seen me take this out of my Mk2 TT. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll put a link up in the top corner here for you to go back and watch those. First step is to whip off this inlet manifold. So let's bring it a bit closer, figure out what tools we need, and we'll start with that. Okay, as in my previous videos, this isn't something I've done before, so we're going to be learning together as we go. I'm just going to start by taking off as much of the easy kind of stuff on the top as I can. We'll start with the PCV and kind of work our way down. The PCVs are T25 Torx bolts, so we can whip those out fairly easily, hopefully. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and hopefully it will just pop off. This sort of breather line looks like it needs to come out of the way. We'll whip off that little bracket on the top there, which looks a bit bigger, so maybe a T40. Okay, so the fuel lines are now loose. We'll take this sensor off of the high pressure fuel pump. This little sensor on the front looks like it needs to come off as well. Let's whip those brackets off. They look like 10s. Okay, we've got some typical Audi single-use clips on the end here. Okay, let's free that side. So I'm going to undo this pipe here from the bottom of the high pressure fuel pump, because that one looks like it wants to come with us. So this is a 17. I'm actually going to remove this high pressure fuel pump, I think, to make just life a little bit easier for myself. T27s. Have a look at the cam follower. You can see it started to wear through. So that'll be getting replaced. Okay, I think we should start trying to whip these inlet manifold bolts out. Right, I've got everything off the top, I believe. Problem is I have no idea what's holding it on the bottom. We do still have a few bits on the front, so we'll whip those off as well. Also, we've got the main intake pipe that goes in there. There's a couple of fixings here to undo. One 10mm there in the middle, and then one Torx at the bottom. We've got the map sensor, I believe, on the intake pipe. There we go. It's your main intake pipe. You can see there, nice big slit where I assume the fan must have touched it at some point. But again, we've got spares from the other car, so not the end of the world. So I know this probably isn't necessary, but I've got nothing that I can access those final few bolts with that are T40s, I think. T27s, I can't remember that. Anyway, on the fuel rail basically, but I've got nothing sort of long and thin enough to get through those holes. So I'm actually going to remove the throttle body, which I don't necessarily know is if that's needed, but I'm going to do it anyway. See if I've got better access that way. Again, this is by no means a how-to or anything like that. Let's just how I'm having to do it. That at least gives me access. Oh, there was another hidden one I didn't even see, so that's good. So we've got two 10 mils, I believe, under there, and then two probably T27s. Dipstick removed. Success-ish. We've got one injector still in there. We've got that sensor that we need to take off. Woo. And there we go. The inlet manifold is off. That was a lot more difficult than I imagined it would be. Okay, so this is what we're left with to begin with. You can see that those flaps, swell flaps, whatever they're called, in the middle two ports there look terrible, but I think we can just pull these out. I mean, how they're that bent, I've got no idea. Try to put these in the right order up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with those out, you can begin to get an idea of how disgusting it is in there. I will put some pictures up. Obviously, it doesn't catch as well as it does on camera, on video. Sorry, it'll catch better on the photos. Ejector is stuck in there as well, which we'll figure out how to get out. But at this point, I think we are in a position to go and grab some of the cleaning agents and stuff that we bought from Amazon. We'll go through everything that I bought, and then we will do some cleaning and see how well we get on. Right, stupidly, I'd forgotten to press record as I started attacking this injector, but effectively there's this little kind of plastic clip that kind of holds the metal kind of cage, I guess, around the top of the injector. So it's a case of kind of prizing behind there, and then I was actually pulling just on the clip. I wasn't touching the injector at all, and as I pulled, it all kind of came out in one. So it actually wasn't as difficult as I thought it might be. So that's good. So let's go and get some blue roll, first of all, some brake cleaner, just to give that little area a bit of a clean up, and then we'll go from there. Right, looking into port number 1, looks like the valves are fully closed, so we can start on this one. Now, again, I've read various things, seen various videos. I'm actually going to start with scraping first before I attack it with any kind of chemical to try and get the main kind of chunks off. Now, I've got a few different picks that I had previously, some straight ones, some angled ones, some right angled ones. Let's see how well this goes. Now I'm going to try and bring you in a little bit closer to see if you can see what I'm doing. Okay, this definitely isn't going to be the easiest thing to film, but what I'm going to do to start with is just pick as much of this carbon off that I can. At the moment it's kind of gooey and able to kind of come off in chunks. I'm going to get as much of that off as I can. And once I've done that, I'll come back, show you where we are before we start attacking this, like I say, with any kind of chemicals. Okay, so after our first little round of scraping, we've got the majority of the large carbon deposits out, blew them all out of an airline. We've now got some of this liquid moly valve clean stuff that everybody seems to rave about when doing this kind of job. I've got 3 cans of this, so we will use it fairly sparingly. But yeah, we'll tip some in and we'll come back with some results. Okay, I know you can't see that very well in the camera, but that is now kind of full up with that valve clean stuff. We're going to let that sit for 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to get some other little goodies out and give it some agitation. While that's sitting, we can have a little look at one of the things that I bought. This is actually a shotgun cleaning kit. You can see that on the camera. And effectively you have a wire brush on the end of either like a kind of screwdriver type attachment, or one of the other things I was thinking was just put it on a plain one, stick it in a drill and get it to kind of buzz around in the drill. I'm going to do it by hand first of all. We've also got another funky method to try with the drill, involving some cable ties. So let's have a go with this first. We'll give it a good scrubbing. This will at least get to the top and to all the sides and everything. And then yeah, we will grab some cable ties out, stick them with a drill, and see what happens. So with this attachment, it's actually quite nice, just to get the walls of the port. This isn't necessarily going to do anything with the valves, but the actual walls themselves get a nice good scrubbing. Obviously not knowing what size these ports were, I actually bought the biggest one I could find, but it's actually probably slightly too big. I can't remember my gauges of shotgun, but this was the biggest one I could find on Amazon. But like I say, I think if I was doing it again, I would buy a slightly smaller one so I could get on the valves as well. But this is doing a fairly good job of the walls, I think. Okay. Okay, one of the crazy methods that I saw online, which I'm going to give a try out to, is a load of cable ties in your drill, smash it in there and just do that. They said to keep them quite long so that you can get to the end. I think these might be a bit too long, so I might end up cutting these down in a minute, but let's get in there. This is probably going to be very messy. Yeah, I think they're too long. Let's cut these down a bit. Okay, let's try it with this sort of length. Very messy, but seems to be doing something. Who needs walnut blasting, right? When you've got a drill and some cable ties. Okay, so with that, we grab our airline, some tissue, and hopefully don't make too much of a mess. Right, so it's still a little bit sort of dirty and sludgy in there, but the majority of the main kind of carbon buildup is gone. I'm now just going to go, hopefully now it's all softened up a little bit more. We'll go with a bit more of a pick, just around the actual valves themselves. And then we'll see where we are. We might be calling that a day on cylinder 1. Okay, and there you can see port number 1. I think that's probably as good as we're going to get it right now. Is it perfect? No, of course. Is it better than it was? Hopefully. You can actually see metal colouring in there, which is nice. I'll put another picture up as well so we can get a better view. And yeah, let's crack on with the other 3 cylinders. I think just before we move on, here is cylinder 1. And then here is cylinder 2. So we have definitely made a good bit of difference. Can't really focus there. There's that. There is definitely a difference. So yeah, not perfect, but not too bad. Just as I start doing number 2, it's just an idea of the lovely lumps of carbon you can get off just by using the pick beforehand. I mean, that's a fairly decent size there, isn't it? That'll be great for the engine, right? Okay then, so we have skipped forward a couple of hours and I'm pretty much done what I can do, I think. I will put some before and after pictures up, but I don't think the outcome is too terrible. But yeah, so that's what we're left with. The inlet manifold over there, and a massive pile of bolts in there, which I really wasn't expecting. Right guys, I think we are going to wrap that up for today, for this video. Apologies, it probably wasn't the most exciting video to watch. It was very difficult to film. That inlet manifold was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. I think, to summarise, I hope I never have to do this again. Was it better than going to somebody and paying them a few £100 for them to do it for me? I don't know, it's questionable. I think obviously they'd have got better results. I wouldn't have been as dirty as I am now. But as always guys, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does help me. And yeah, we will see you on the next one. We are going to be removing those injectors, doing a little bit of a clean on them, see what happens. And then I think we're going to be moving on to this side and doing the timing belt and everything on this side. Before we then do things like the rocker cover gasket, the thermostat, the sump, the pickup pipe, probably the timing chain this side as well. If you have got any ideas on what I should be doing to this engine before I put it in, like are there any common things that fail, that would be greatly appreciated, because I'd like to get as much stuff done to this engine while it's out and on the stand, and then a little bit easier than when it's in the car. But yeah, that'll do us. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.